Hello, we have a lot of exciting updates this month, so let's start. For me, the most important update is that now we have another version of Databricks, which is totally serverless SaaS platform. When you go to try Databricks and you select for professional use, then you have this Express setup. By using this Express setup, you will get serverless workspace, which will be automatically deployed with Unity Catalog in few seconds, and you will get $400 credits to use free of charge. And that workspace, which will be deployed, is totally serverless. So you don't have here compute. You have SQL warehouse, you have some other serverless offering, and you have serverless for notebooks and jobs. You cannot run all compute, but this type of workspace is great for small business, for proof of concept, and for some other use cases, because you deploy that workspace in a few seconds, and you can start using Databricks. What I also found that these workspaces are great for education purposes, because if you have a group of students and you want to learn Databricks, it's the best way to do that. Another update, which is not related to serverless, is just opposite. It is new runtime. Currently, we have runtime 16, which is now in general availability. Let's find it. It's here. So we can see that 16 is running. And actually, for example, for serverless, there are two images, 14 and 15. So if you want to use 16, it's only when you deploy on compute. In runtime 16, there is new command, optimize full. What it does, it is rewriting all liquid clusters, all liquid partitioning. So it's using query history and statistics to adjust your liquid partitions to match to your read and write patterns, because it's rewriting everything and using a lot of data to make that process. It can take a long time for big tables, so use it with caution and use it only if it's really necessary and you want to have really high performance. Another update which I want to show you is another kind of optimize, but that optimize is for SQL queries and its syntax. So for example, here we can see the inefficient use of SQL where command. And if we click assistant, I click slash, and here we have optimize command. So when we click it, it will propose to us more optimized syntax. So, for example, here we can just put date to where syntax, and also it is proposing that it's better, for example, to use to list fields instead of using star. I think it's a really good solution, especially for beginners. Another update which I like is that when you run SQL commands, you will have separate page for every of results. Also, take a note here that we have new SQL editor, and this SQL editor has a lot of new features which are allowing easy collaboration. And here we can see that every part of every command is displayed now in the separate page. So it's no longer a problem to run multiple select, for example, statement at once and see the result. And another updates are related to dashboards. So for example, let's say that we have here longitude and latitude information, so it's geographical information. So now we can easily create maps using that information. So when we click visualization, we can choose one of the map objects, and here is map chart. So we select our columns, longitude. We can group, so let's group by shop name, and save it. And we can see that we have visualization with our points on the map. So it's really nice that maps are now integrated with Databricks. Another update is also related to dashboard. So once we have our mapping dashboard, there is something new, and I've been waiting for that for a long time. Finally, we have pages or tabs, however you call it, and we can have multiple tabs in our dashboard. So let's say we can name first tab as maps, and we can create another tabs, and let's name it data. So then in dashboard is possible to switch between tabs, and in my opinion it's a really big improvement because it's one of the features which were really missing in dashboard, so maps and tabs. Another update is related to Unity catalog. So let's go to our Unity catalog. So in Unity catalog, we have now new option, credentials. This way we can store credential to Azure or AWS resources here directly in Unity catalog. And then when we want to connect to that resources, like here, for example, using really popular bot-of-free library, we can pass this credential from Unity catalog directly to script. And in my opinion, it's big improvement from security perspective, because instead of using a lot of tokens, you can just register this credential in Unity catalog. Currently, there is AWS for AWS workspaces, Azure for Azure workspaces, IAM role and managed identity. There is also Cloudflare API token, and I hope that we'll have more options here soon. Another improvement, but the one which we cannot see, is related to predictive optimization. It is really important to enable predictive optimization in your account console, and that feature is becoming more and more powerful. So currently in preview, we have possibility that feature is analyzing your tables and generating statistics, and also is deciding how many columns to generate statistics for. Because by default it was first 32 columns, but this predictive optimization will generate statistics based on your queries which you are executing. So having this enabled can guarantee you much better performance of your SQL, especially serverless SQL, because it's using all these kinds of statistics to improve your query performance. Another update is related to Delta Live tables. So we have now a really nice feature, which is query history. So for every query generated by Data Live tables, we have query profile. So we can check that information, which probably you are familiar with from SQL or for Spike UI. And also it's really nice that finally we have this for Delta Live tables, and we can analyze all statistics and performance based on that information. So we can see a query profile of our Delta Live table script. Another update is related to cost control. So if we go to setting of our accounts and we go to compute, now we can define budget policies. Basically, that policy is connected to some tags, and then we decide who can use that policy. So, for example, we can select group. So let's select all users, and we said that they are user of that policy. And when you are user of that policy, when you do something on serverless for jobs and notebooks, you can select which policy you are applying. So based on that, then you can generate statistics about cost, because, for example, you can assign different policies to different teams. Last update is related to Databricks asset bundles. During few previous weeks, there was a lot of new addition to Databricks asset bundles. I will show you here my posts. So, for example, now we can deploy also all-purpose clusters. Generally, I like the strategy that Databricks is adding more and more to Databricks asset bundles, because not every time you want to manage everything through Terraform. And I found that it's often really bottleneck, because you have some infrastructure team managing Terraform, but you want to deploy all-purpose cluster, and then people do it through UI. And it is much more better to do this as a code, and then we can do this now through Databricks asset bundles. And there are more improvements. Another improvement is that we can store dashboards and deploy them through asset bundles to higher environments. Also soon Git for dashboards is coming, so it will be possible to have the same deployment as for notebooks. Just store it on Git and merge it to higher environment in Git, and then run asset bundles to deploy it. Another nice things are presets in Databricks asset bundles. Especially I like prefix presets, so I can prefix resources, depends on environment, on target to which I'm deploying. And last thing, which in fact is quite controversial, is possibility of deploying schemas directly through asset bundles. In my opinion, it is a really good solution, because often you create small asset bundles just for one project, and that asset bundles needs to have separate schema. So instead of managing it through Terraform, it can be easier to manage through the same place. And I think that all updates for this month. And thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.